Hello everyone, welcome back to the AFLW Draft channel. In this video, we are going to be going through the best midfielders in the AFLW Draft that reside in Victoria, that played in the Coates Talent League this year. We have quite a few to go through because it's a quite talented list. If we gave our top five, I don't think it would give justice to the depth that there is in this category. So we do have kind of two tiers we're going to go through. So in our first tier, these are the players: Ash Centra, Sophie Mackay, Lucia Painter, Sarah Howley and Sarah Greaves. In our second tier, we have Sarah Pousty, Gemma Reynolds, Abby Vicino, Zoe Hargreaves, Maggie Marnie, Jazz Sowden, and Ali Simons, who will kind of discuss why she's in this role come the end of the video. But let's start at the top with the likely pick one of the AFLW Draft, Ash Centra. Jonty, can you tell me something that's wrong with her?
Yeah, no, I can't. That's probably been the trivia question all year. She's produced a phenomenal season, a phenomenal underage career with the Gippsland Power. Her decision-making and her vision are both great strengths. You know that if you kick it to her, she's going to find a way to take a mark, whether it's a contested mark or a mark on the lead. She's so hard to beat in any capacity. And, yeah, it's hard to find a fault in her game. It feels like every time we talk about Ash Centra, you're just repeating the same things. But she's going to be a star, and she's going to be one of the most marketable players in the AFLW for years to come, you'd assume. Oh,
100%. In terms of just some of the best footy IQ, you talk about like natural footballers, she's the best, I think, by far. And when we've compared it to Havana Harris, that's probably actually the one thing I didn't bring up, that Ash Centra feels like she's a better natural footballer. It just comes to her without needing to try too hard. Sophie Mackay, the next on this list, she'll end up at Carlton, so you're kind of just discussing what she brings, really. But in terms of output, she knows how to find the footy. She's tough. She can get into contests and get it out, extract it really well. Provides really good offensive output, which I like about her game. So you can put her in the forward line to start her career. I don't think she will. I think she'll go straight into that Carlton midfield. It's still a pretty developing raw team, so I think she'll get those minutes straight away, but you can play her in that forward line as well, and she'll be pretty potent.
Yeah, good forward threat. She's a really good clearance player as well. She gets the ball and she's really clean around stoppage, and then those first few steps she's really hard to stop, and then she can hit her targets really, really lethally. Lucia Painter, a strong, powerful player. She's really hard to tackle and really hard to beat one-on-one because she's just got that raw strength, and her skills up with the best players as well. She's so hard to stop around stoppage, and her pressure's quite good as well. I think she's one that's going to be really, really interesting to see her development. We've talked about the development of country players. She certainly fits into that category, and her productivity during her time at the Bendigo Pioneers has been sensational. Looking forward to what she can do at the next level.
Yeah, her conditioning has been supreme, given that she had some injury worries at the start of the year. To come to the season and have like game after game, she's racking up 30 plus without any real worries.
Yep.
You know, you'd always have that concern about re-injuring something that you've done previously. None of that. She just produced terrific efforts week in, week out. And the next on our list, Sarah Howley, who I feel like she's unique compared to those first three, where she's a lot smaller in terms of size. So very nifty, but is a ball magnet. Absolutely knows how to find the footy. I mean, the attention that clubs have had to put into her just because of how well she can speed around stoppages, get it, extract it, move it forward. She's hard to stop when she gets going, and her general understanding of what's around her as well just makes her. That's what puts her in this top five as well. She is so smart and clean. Like size doesn't matter. We've never kind of like as much as that comment of size that kind of comes up, it's never actually a factor.
No, and she has strengthened this year. That's been noticeable, but she just gets to so many contests. She gets to more contests than anyone else, and then if you're a ball magnet, it really explains why. I think coming into the year, I heard some people sort of question the kicking efficiency, but I think she answered those critics absolutely this year. Yeah, she's got really clean hands, and she can set the game up in close with the amount of contests she gets to, but if she gets it on the outside, she's hitting her targets as well. She's she's a bona fide supreme top 5 talent, I think, and she could fall out of the top 5 because this is only the Victorian side of things. I've obviously got some really top-end northern talent and western talent as well that we're not talking about, but yeah, she'll possibly end up being a bargain for the club she does go to. Sierra Greaves, I've referenced Grace Bellany as being the bolter of the draft class. Sierra Greaves is probably in a similar vein of form or similar vein of growth to her. She's just so balanced. Her pressure is really good. When you look at these top end midfielders, they do get a lot of the footy, but of these 5, I think you could make a strong argument that her pressure is probably the best if she's not winning it, and she's really clean and she's able to speed away from stoppages, and she has that balance, and she's able to take those small steps, and she's quite light on her feet. But if she doesn't get the ball in her hands, then she's so desperate to tackle as well, and I think that's really impressive. Yeah,
just her threat with ball in hand. She's just so dominant the way she attacks the footy and makes possessions, just creates something out of nothing almost, and I love the way she did that, especially at the championships level. She did that at her first academy game. I think I had her as my best on grounder. She would have been very close to it. That the way she plays, she doesn't. She works so well with others, but can also create things herself, and that's what I think makes her so damaging. She's not relying on kind of others around her to make things happen. Takes on herself. So yeah, she's got to be considered quite highly in this draft class.
Sarah Powsty might be the bravest player in the draft class. She puts herself in positions where other players wouldn't put. She's quite a good mark as well. She's not afraid to go back with the flight. She's obviously really good overhead, and she applies as much pressure, if not more pressure, than Sierra Greaves. That's a real strength of hers, but also that stoppage craft, her competitiveness, and we saw at the 2K time trial how fit she is and how much of a point of difference that could be at the next level.
Yeah, that toughness is next level. I think she's one that when you talk about someone who will probably fall under the top 15 or top 20 wherever she goes, depending on interstate and all things like that, she'd probably be one of the first to be in that round 1 side given what she provides. I think just a pressure player, that's the standard. I think she's always been the standard, especially at Oakley, but I think every level she goes to as well, she would have been considered the standard. Gemma Reynolds, the next on the list, who has produced as consistent a season as any other, I think, on this list, with her ball-winning ability, her smarts at the stoppage as well, to be able to read the play really well, get it off really quickly, and understand the way the ground is kind of around her. I've always liked that with Gemma Reynolds' game, and I don't think she gets the recognition that others do, because she's, I guess, at country level as well, she's around a Lou Painter, Ash Centre, Sarah Howley, but I think she's as smart and as crafty as those 3. I don't know if you agree, but I think she has to be considered in the top 30 at least in the draft, just for what she provides. I think she's definitely got it.
I was surprised she didn't get a national AFLW Draft combine invite. She got a state combine invite. I think the only thing I'd add to her is just how clean she is. Her ground balls are absolutely phenomenal. So the fundamental areas of her game are quite sound. So that would be an enticing prospect for an AFLW club to take a chance on. The next player that we'll talk about is Zoe Hargreaves. I think, and I've talked about this quite a bit throughout the year, but I think for midfielders, when you're good overhead, that's a really nice point of difference, and I think she is. And when you watch her, it almost feels like she's running ahead of the play. She knows where the play's going to be 2 steps before everyone else. Her footy smarts are really quite unbelievable to watch. So they're the 2 things that really stand out about her, and she's got a good turn of pace as well. So they're the things that stand out to me about Zoe Hargreaves.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I was actually, before you finished, I was trying to think of some way to summarise her. Like she is always ahead of the play, it feels like. The way she runs, she's just really smart to assess what's kind of coming up and gets herself ahead of it, which I think, metro level was definitely a lot more prominent when she wasn't the main ball user compared to when she's at the Knights. So great analysis there. Abby Vicino's the next on this list too. Again, she won the best and fairest for the Talent League as a bottom ager last year, did she? Oh, am I getting confused?
Third.
She got third. Sorry, she got very close, ranked very highly. understands how to win the footy out of the stoppage, has general cleanliness with the footy. I guess that, your deficiency, you're looking at endurance with her game. She's not one of your speediest midfielders, but she produces moments of punch. So, you can weigh up that, but she knows how to win it. She's been in a talented side where she's had really good teammates around her to build her game on. I think she does go later in the draft. Like when you have players like I said, that have been in such strong teams, their systems, the way they think is quite good. So, she's an interesting prospect.
Stoppage craft, absolutely phenomenal. The only thing I'd say is she's probably a player that I see as clearly a midfielder, and it's quite a skinny draft in terms of the numbers that are going to get picked up. So when you're looking at those 10 or so at the back end, would you favour someone who's maybe got a bit more versatility?
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that could work against her. But yeah, she's been absolutely unbelievable to watch this year. Maggie Marnie, her Oakley Chargers teammate, is the next one I want to touch on. Her pressure's phenomenal. So you think about Sarah Pousty, but yeah, Maggie Marnie's pressure is just as strong, and she's played that clear role for Oakley where she's been able to showcase that real weapon. And then in the front half, I think something that gets overshadowed is just her ability to set up goals and kick goals as well. When she's got ball in hand, she's quite a potent threat. So she's really good like that. And also, clearly with that pressure, she's so good inside the contest. When she gets her hands on the ball, she makes quick decisions, which is quite evident and has been for a couple of years for Oakley.
Yeah, it's a great summary. I'll move now to Jazz Sowden, she's worked well in tandem with Ash Centra for Gippy this year, and she's played a few roles throughout the year. She's played most of her footy in the midfield, has played a bit up forward as well, produces some speed, some flair in her game, definitely has great bounce about her, just agility-wise. So it'd be interesting to see where she kind of ranges in this draft. I guess there just needs to be a bit of polish with her disposal at times, and I feel like the trend with her, she overdoes a few things with the way she plays because she has the potential. I just think there's times where she needs to just tone it down, do what the easier thing. She wants to impress, and that's a great aspect about her game. She's always looking to, be the best out there, but at times it can be too much when she just needs to do the simple thing, but she's definitely got the ability at the next level.
Yeah, good summary. The thing I'd add is just the strength. She's so hard to beat one-on-one. I think I see her starting as a small forward and someone who can take a really good mark and get you at ground level as well, just because of that real strength. I remember seeing her play. It might have been on Lucia Painter, or she's played on a couple of bigger bodies, and she's quite a skinny. She's a smaller build, but she does have deceptive strength. She certainly packs a punch, and she has the tools there. Just probably didn't quite kick on as much as she would have liked. She obviously got a game as a bottom major for Vic Country last year, but I think there's still enough there that warrant selection at the AFLW draft. And then the last one we touch on is Ali Simons, who's probably a little bit higher in this list than some others we've talked about in terms of where they'll fall on AFLW draft night. It's just a question of what her position is at the next level. She's played obviously some ruck as a player for the Dandenong Stingrays. That's not going to be her position at the next level. She's not quite tall enough for that. She's someone who can play in the forward line, take a really good contested mark and kick goals. We saw her kicking an unbelievable goal in the wet for Dandenong. I think it might have been her first game back at, not at Shepley Oval, at Seaford. That was really impressive. But yeah, she's so powerful. She's a clearance player. She models her game on Charlie Rowbottom, and she's someone who is, to me, going to become someone who will be... I don't want to say a marketable AFLW player that is going to have a really long career, but I could see her as having that sort of potential and being that prototypical strong inside midfielder with all the traits and X factor as well.
Yeah, well, we've talked about, how scary she can be in terms of a midfielder that big who wins stoppages, plays as a forward and can kick goals like a small forward. Like, it's rare talent, that type of ability. So I see her definitely as a forward at the next level. I think she'll be a real threat, and she'll be very hard to take down as well. She's only going to get bigger and stronger at the next level, so she'll be quite elite to deal with. And that wraps up our midfielders video for today. We have videos on the best forwards, defenders, and winners in this in this series of videos. So make sure to check them out on our YouTube channel. AFLW Draft is on the 16th of December. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in another video.